A moment of deception, unraveling the artistry in Van den Eeckhout's Isaac Blessing Jacob. Gerbrand van den Eeckhout, 1621 to 1674, was a Dutch painter who studied under the famous Rembrandt. He was known for his religious and historical paintings, as well as his portraits and genre scenes. One of his early works is Isaac Blessing Jacob, painted in 1642, when he was about 21 years old. This painting depicts a dramatic moment from the Old Testament, where deception and family dynamics intertwine. The painting is characterized by its intricate detailing and use of light, reminiscent of Rembrandt's influence yet distinct in its execution. Van den Eeckhout employs a warm and rich color palette, creating a contrast between the dark background and the illuminated foreground. The figures are staged with Isaac at the center, his blindness metaphorically depicted through the subdued lighting that casts shadows on his form. Rebecca and Jacob are illuminated subtly, highlighting their active roles in this scene of deception. Esau, who enters from the left, is partially obscured by the curtain, suggesting his marginalization and exclusion. The painting narrates the biblical story where Jacob, guided by Rebecca, deceives his blind father Isaac to secure Esau's blessing. According to the book of Genesis, Isaac was old and near death, and he wanted to bless his eldest son Esau before he died. He asked Esau to go hunting and prepare him a meal of venison. Rebecca, who favored Jacob, overheard this and instructed Jacob to disguise himself as Esau and bring Isaac a meal of goat meat. Jacob followed her advice and wore Esau's clothes and goat skins on his hands and neck, to mimic his brother's hairy appearance. He then approached Isaac, who was fooled by his voice and touch, and received his blessing. Esau returned shortly after and realized that he had been cheated out of his birthright in his father's favor. The story of Isaac and Jacob is one of the most popular and frequently depicted subjects in Western art, especially in the 17th century. It reflects the themes of deception, rivalry, and divine providence that were relevant to the religious and social context of the time. The story also serves as a prefiguration of the Christian doctrine of salvation by grace, as Jacob, the younger and unworthy son, receives the blessing that was meant for Esau, the elder and rightful heir. Every element within this piece, from the exotic bed to the silver yaw, is symbolic. The bed, with its elaborate headboard and canopy, represents Isaac's status and authority, as well as his vulnerability and isolation. The table, with its lavish spread of food and utensils, signifies the material wealth and inheritance that Jacob will obtain. The silver yaw, which reproduces a famous piece by Adam van Vianen, a renowned silversmith, stands for the artistic and cultural achievements that Jacob will inherit. The curtain, which separates Esau from the rest of the scene, symbolizes the division and conflict that will arise between the brothers. Van den Eeckhout's portrayal of the theme leans heavily into material representation rather than emotional depth. The characters appear as props, their emotions understated amidst opulent surroundings. Isaac looks passive and trusting rather than conflicted and deceived. Rebecca looks instructive and calm rather than cunning and anxious. Jacob looks obedient and respectful rather than guilty and fearful. Esau looks surprised and curious rather than angry and betrayed. The painting lacks the dramatic tension and psychological insight that other artists, such as Rembrandt and Flink, have achieved in their renditions of the same subject. While he masterfully captures material textures and light interplay, there is an evident lack of emotional resonance which could have elevated this piece to greater artistic heights. Van den Eeckhout seems more interested in showcasing his technical skill and stylistic imitation than in expressing his personal vision and interpretation. The painting is a testament to his ability to reproduce a classical story with accuracy and detail, but also to his limitations as an artist emerging from under Rembrandt's shadow. In essence, Isaac Blessing Jacob serves as an exploration into Van den Eeckhout's early style, rich in detail but seeking depth. It reflects both his mastery and areas for evolution as an artist who was influenced by, but also independent from, his famous teacher.